and welcome to the cake tip. Today we're going to be making gluten-free Caramilk cream cheese frosted cupcakes. First of all, you'll need a couple of muffin tins lined with cupcake cases. The first lot of ingredients you're going to need to make this recipe is some butter or margarine at room temperature. You're also going to need some vanilla extract, and you're going to need some brown caster sugar, which is made up of white caster sugar and brown sugar made together in a food processor. I will put a list of all the ingredients and their quantities in the description underneath the video. Grab yourself a bowl, and you can either do this in a standalone mixer or you can do this with a handheld mixer, whichever you choose. Pop your sugar into the bowl and your butter or margarine. And then you're going to need just 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract into this. You're then going to pop this into your standalone mixer or by hand. You're going to need to mix this until this is fully combined. This will take just a couple of minutes to come together, and you'll see that it becomes to look nice and creamy when it's ready for the next stage. So this recipe calls for 3 eggs, and preferably these are free-range eggs. You're just going to whisk these together to make it a little bit easier to add to the mix. These eggs do need to be added a little bit at a time to the mix so that it doesn't curdle. Once your mix is ready, you're just going to pour a little bit of your eggs in at a time. If you're doing this in a standalone mixer, you can do it whilst it's going. If you're doing it in a handheld mixer, you'll just have to pop it a little bit in at a time. So this is how we want it to look. Now we're going to do our flour, so our gluten-free flour and our white chocolate chips. You're actually going to add them to the flour. This is so that they can be coated, so that when they're in the cupcake, they don't all just drop to the bottom, and they're nicely just distributed throughout the cupcake. Once that's fully mixed in together, we're then going to add it to the rest of our mix. Add the flour and chocolate chips to your mix, and if you're doing this in a standalone mixer, just pulse it to begin with, otherwise you'll get a big dust cloud of flour. If you're doing it with a handheld mixer, that's fine, you can just build up. Once your mix is ready and it's looking lovely and nice and caramel, we're going to distribute it throughout our cupcakes. Now I like to use an ice cream scoop to do this because I find that it gives you even amounts throughout each cupcake. Usually about 1 to 2 spoonfuls will do it. You want it about 3/4 of the way full on the cupcake case. Once you've placed all of your mix into your cupcake cases, we're going to bake these in a preheated oven for approximately 18 to 20 minutes until they're golden brown. Remove them from the oven and allow them to cool for roughly 5 to 6 minutes in the tins to allow the cases to stick properly to the cakes. Meanwhile, we're going to make our buttercream. To make our buttercream, we'll need some icing sugar, some butter at room temperature, and our delicious Philadelphia Caramilk cream cheese, which is the base of our frosting. So to begin with, you're going to need to place your butter into your standalone mixer or using a handheld mixer, and you're going to need to beat this for approximately 8 to 10 minutes. You really need this to become really silky and soft before you try to add your cream cheese to the mix. Whilst beating your butter, remove your cupcakes from the tins and allow them to cool on a wire rack until completely cool. Now our butter is ready to add our cream cheese to the mix. It's nice and soft. So just scoop your cream cheese out of its container. And once you have all of it into the bowl, you're going to combine this together on a lower speed to begin with, because we don't want to overbeat the cream cheese. We just want the butter and cream cheese to come together nicely, ready for the icing sugar. So now it's ready for us to add the icing sugar to it. Once again, we're going to pop our icing sugar into the mix, but when you're using a handheld or standalone mixer, you want to put it on a low speed or pulse it first of all to begin with, otherwise you'll end up with a big dust cloud of icing sugar. Now our frosting is ready and looks and smells divine. We're going to pop this into an icing bag to top our cupcakes. If you don't have an icing bag or icing tips, that's perfectly fine. You can spoon it onto the top of your cupcakes instead. It won't look quite as pretty, but it will taste exactly the same. So I'm just putting a couple of scoops of the frosting into the icing bag to begin with, so that I've got enough control over the icing bag when I'm piping. So just tie up your bag at the end so that it's nice and tight, so that you've got plenty of control. And then you're just going to grab a hold of one of your cupcakes and you're going to pipe into circles. You don't have to do this decoration if you don't want to. You can do a different design if you like, but I think this nice simple design really suits the Caramilk type of cupcake. Super simple and easy and quick to do. I'm now just going to continue this until I've used up all of my frosting on all of my cupcakes. These cupcakes will keep for 1 to 2 days with this type of frosting on, if they actually last that long in your household, which they won't in mine. I'm just going to add some white chocolate chips for a last little bit of decoration, just to increase the flavour of the white chocolate within these Caramilk cupcakes. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and please remember to subscribe for future videos of vegan, gluten-free, keto, paleo and much more.